And we're back here once again with another episode of the MSK show. And this is going to be episode 268. So I hope you guys had a great day. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your week that is ahead of you. And in this episode of the MSK show, we are going to be talking about nothing. There is no topics because me and Last Comic Fan have not had a show in about 3 weeks, actually.
Okay, yeah, but tell them why there's no topic. Not because we haven't had a show for a while, because someone over there doesn't know how to read.
Okay, to be fair, I had
to do you had stuff. You had real life stuff.
There's some life stuff I don't really want to tell people about. It's actually nothing bad at all. It's actually fairly good.
It's nobody's business, dude.
So, the week we were gonna come back, he actually had a nasty fall and his back was out. Mm-hmm. And then the week after that,
that whole week was bad. I had a really bad problem with my blood pressure. It was like
you told me
really high, and it was some of the weirdest stuff. I felt like I was it was like an out of body experience. Like it was so weird, dude. And I'm like, man, what the fuck? Getting old is like awful. It's all happening at once to me. So
you're essentially like Kevin Conroy, Batman, and I'm like Terry McGinnis. And beyond.
I mean, with that hairdo, I don't know if you're Terry McGinnis. you might be Tyrone. I can't even think of a good last name.
Good Lord. And you know what's crazy is that after you had your situation, then we were gonna do the show, and I can't remember what it was. Oh, it's because that Tuesday, because I didn't know how long you were going to be out because that was a very serious thing. I thought you were going to be out for like 2 weeks. So what I ended up doing was I scheduled a bunch of people 2 weeks in advance when you said you were hurt, because I was like, well, I'm not going to make him do the show if he's like fucking that injured. That would fucking be terrible.
Well, I think the thing that confused me is if you look at our messages earlier in the week, you were like, hey, Flash 3. And I was like, okay. So that's why I thought we were doing it that Tuesday. And then when I asked you, you were like, I thought you weren't coming back for a couple weeks. I'm like, oh, well, it doesn't. Who cares?
And then after that, I ended up getting a strike on YouTube.
The internet hated you.
Literally, I was just doing a watch party for League of Legends. There's a tournament going on right now. It's all the regions facing each other, lower bracket. And Riot was like, no, we're just going to give you a strike. I contacted them. Ignored. Yeah, great. I've been fucking playing this game for like 10 years of my life, dedicating a podcast to it and everything. Yeah. Fuck that company. But fuck you still, Riot. I still love your game. But goddamn. So after Riot gave me that strike, with YouTube now, because back in the day, like years ago, when I had a 7-day strike on my original alleged main YouTube channel back in the day, that's not taken away and not retconned like the new 52. When you would have a 7-day ban, it would be like, okay, on the 7th day, you can come back at the time that you got taken down. But now it's like you have to wait 7 full days, and then
I think it's 7 days from the time you get it.
Yeah, that's what it used to be, and now it's no.
No. Like if you get it on a Sunday, you won't be able to stream till that a week from Monday.
I didn't know that. I thought I would just be able to come back to Sunday.
I think that's the way it reads, but it could have changed.
No,
like it probably changed over the years somehow. But I always thought that's what it meant. Like, because what if you don't get the strike till like 11 o'clock at Sunday? You know what I mean? I think they don't count that as the day. So
and then
who knows?
Yeah, and then Labs had another thing too. So his I don't know if you said it on stream, because it basically the company you were working for basically said you weren't allowed to have a YouTube channel.
So yeah, I talked all about. I actually did a stream. So like I gave it a few days. Yeah, so I'll give you the shortened version. So the company I used to work for, they merged with this massive company. All the military move companies came together to make this new company, right? Mm-hmm. Well, the people that they put in charge of it were like massive DEI people. Like everything was like, it was ridiculous. I got like a book of pronouns. I'm not even joking. And I was just like, if you think I'm fucking doing this, I told them too. I was like, why wouldn't I just ask the person their name? Why would I ever in any context refer to them themselves as he, she, they, them, zer, zim, zar? Like, that's just stupid. Why don't you just, hey, what's your name? Okay, that's what I will call you.
What if someone actually asked you to pronounce their name as like Batman of Zur and R? I'm not gonna lie, I would be against that, but it's like, okay, that's cool enough. That's fucking cool, honestly.
So they made us right when we started. they had this human relations meeting, and it was literally the first day, and they were like, anybody out here who has a presence on social media, Facebook is okay, but you cannot comment on anything political. You cannot comment on the military. You cannot comment on this. And if you have a YouTube channel, you basically do not have a YouTube channel anymore. We do not want people. And I said, how the hell would they know I work for you unless I say I do? Like, that doesn't even make sense. They're like, oh, but if you see me making fun of some shit that you're gonna make, that automatically exempts me from doing work, like, that's fucking stupid. And I told him, I was like, that's fucking dumb. And so that's why I didn't make a video for like 5 months, even though mine weren't, anything. My fighting fandom channel, like, I could see them being like, hey, you have some
culture war, right wing right wing drift channel.
Yeah, and I'm not even right wing. That's the worst part. I'm no wing. I think both sides suck.
You would fall under like fucking undecided, maybe like centrist, maybe.
I'd say this. I lean more conservative in the stuff that I believe, but I also believe in autonomy of people. It seems weird that we're having like a giant fucking, who's the most popular person contest still to see who runs the fucking country. It's pretty dumb.
In the 3 to 4 weeks we didn't have a show together, Epstein and Diddy got off in the same week.
So same. How?
Never thought I would ever live to this day and this year and at this exact time doing a podcast where both Diddy and Jeffrey Epstein, Puff Daddy, Mr. Jeffrey Epstein, both basically got off. And Diddy, his bail was denied, so he's back in jail, but he's gonna have a resentencing.
He's gonna have a resentence hearing, but
he's gonna probably maybe get like 6 months to a year in jail at best.
Here's the problem with the Epstein thing, right? Like, we know that so many things are on both sides. Okay. Yeah. So they don't want that coming out. They're going to let the guy skate. If there was this file, like that picture that the Twitter, that we got the files. If there was a fucking file, dude, whatever side would have used it to destroy the other side. If that was, so like, they need to just shut up and go away, because that you wonder why it creates mistrust with the government,
And it's ridiculous. People know I do like Trump. I think he was vilified unjustifiably through the media, but this dude, him on his second re-election on the whole campaign, he was the one constantly bringing up Epstein files and Epstein files and Epstein files. So when people thought he got in, he was going to release them. I'm like, Trump, you did that to yourself, dude. Yeah, you kept saying you were going to release them.
Let's also say, like, this second term has not been anywhere near as good as his first term. The dude's done.
He was crazy. Yeah, you're right.
Done lost the plot. I'm sorry. Yeah. Look, I supported it. My thing is this: even if I don't agree with who got voted in, I support the person who's in, because if they fail, then America fails, and I don't want America to fail. If it's wrong for someone to love the country they live in, then you can kiss the zipper part of my asshole. I don't care.
Good. Let's start.
Jesus Christ, dude.
Dude, you can't even say that's what makes America great, because there was this WNBA clip that came out with the commentators, and one of the ladies literally just said this, guys, I shit you not. She didn't say anything bad. She just said, that's what makes America great. Literally word for word what she said. And then the other lady went silent, and then the lady that said that was like, oh, I should rephrase that. And she was like, yeah, you should. You can't even imply that America's great.
Like, you know what else is hilarious too? All these people who think America sucks and how horrible it is, how awful it is, are the same people mad that illegal immigrants aren't allowed to stay. Anyway. So that's kind of what this company was, right? Like, I was getting back to what I said before. So I started noticing, like, right as soon as I got there, because I've been in the military move business for a while, and it's not like a normal billing and moving business. There are a lot of parts, because you got to pay the government, agents, and then all these other things. And the contracts that are negotiated are they're high end. This was a $17.9 billion called the Global Household Goods Contract, right? The GHG got changed to the GHC. So it was a whole new thing. So whenever I got there, I noticed, like, they were doing things that it didn't make any sense. It just didn't make any sense. And I was like, this goes against everything that I have ever been taught. And I've been taught by some of the best people in this business, right? And I know what I'm doing. Like there's very few things in life that I could sit there and go, I'm very good at this, right? That job I'm very good at. I'm very obviously look at the way I am. I walk into offices like this. You think I'd still be employed if I wasn't good?
Oh, yeah.
Where everybody's wearing suits. I come in with jean shorts and Jordans and a Fantastic Four sweatshirt. And they're like, he's one of the best people we have. So I was wondering, like, why can't I have a YouTube channel? So that's the reason why I did shows with you, because I figured, one, they wouldn't know that I'm on there, and two, like, none of my email that I use for YouTube is listed anywhere in my like social media.
Yeah.
Just because I just didn't want to get into that whole argument. So what happened was, it was Juneteenth. I remember it specifically. So back in the day when you used to like channel surf, like before the cable guide was a thing, you just had a clicker and you would press up or down for channels, right? Well, now you have the channel guide, the menu. So I usually put on like C-SPAN and listen to it while I'm looking for stuff, right? To watch. And I literally just happened to put it on. It was like 7:00 p.m. Eastern time. And I'm flipping through the guide and I hear this. I hear, coming up next, the Secretary of Defense will be making an announcement about the global household goods contract. And I was like, huh, that's weird. That's what I do. He gets on and he's like, HSA, the company, we are terminating their contract because they have not met any of the, requirements for this contract. This thing didn't even last 5 months or 6 months. Sorry, like 6 months. Didn't even last then. And I started like doing like research into the parent company of the HSA. Dude, they're a Fortune 500 company, a massive company, and they have some blood on their hands. Like some shit that I was just like, holy fuck. Because they dealt a lot with weaponry and like stuff for the Iraq war. I'll put it like this. One of the charges that they were brought up in the 90s, right? I read this and the case and everything. They got accused and found guilty of human trafficking. And how they got them on human trafficking was they set up a supply base in Jordan during the Iraq war in the 90s. And they got a bunch of Nepalese workers. And they said, we're going to send you to Jordan. You're going to work in the supply run. Well, they got sent to Iraq. And like 15 of them got kidnapped and killed. So how they got this contract, I have no idea. So literally, like the day that happened, when they canceled the contract, my phone rang the next morning. It was my boss from my old company, the one that I never wanted to leave. And he was like, hey, man, I am so sorry about all of this. I feel terrible. He's like, I wish I could, bring you back or whatever. And he's like, just let me know what happens with your employment there. So we go back. It's a Friday because Thursday was Juneteenth. We go back and the CEO has what's called an all hands call. So all like 500 employees are in a Microsoft Teams meeting, all of us, right? And this was the best thing ever. So he's up there talking about how we offered great service. Oh, blah, blah, blah. And I'm sitting here going, then why was the fucking contract canceled, asshole? Like, no, obviously you guys fucked it all up. Like I was saying from the beginning, like I talked to these, I was like, nothing you guys do makes sense. Like you guys are paying agents before they do work. You're not billing the government the correct rates. Like you're gonna get fucked. Like this has to be meticulously planned out. You need a good billing team. Yeah, that's grunt work, but that's the foundation of what you do. That is literally where all the money goes. You have to have a good team. And he started talking all this stuff, right? So at the end, you can write your question in. They have like 2 secretary ladies that would fire off questions to him. Well, like I said, there was a bunch of DEI hires, right? So all of a sudden, dude, people were just unmuting themselves because they were pissed. They knew like shit was about to hit the fan. And they were like, so what does this mean? Like, do we have jobs? He's like, come in Monday. It's business as usual. We still have all these moves we have to finish out, blah, blah, blah. We're not taking new moves because the government said we can't, and blah, 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 all this stuff. This one woman got on and she went, and I knew it was going to be great. This is literally word for word how she started the conversation. She said, listen here, Mr. Mans. And I went, oh, this is going to be awesome. This is going to be so good. Here's a white ass CEO who's probably never left Connecticut, never had a conversation, never had a conversation with anybody light or darker skin color than him. You know, she was like, you might be happy and cool with a failed business sitting up there in your $1 million palatial estate. But she said mansion, right? She goes, but I need a paycheck week to week. Am I fucked or am I not fucked? And she goes, and the guy goes, we're not going to swear. We're not swearing at each other. We can't swear. Da, da, da. All these people just started chiming in. Fuck you. Fuck you. It was great. So literally we go in Monday because business as usual. And they had all these meetings set up with HR. So all these people started messaging me in the morning. They're like, do you know anything? I was like, look, I'm not a boss here. I was a boss. I'm not a boss. I'm just a dude. Like, I don't know anything. I said, but if it was my guess, they're going to fire all of us because they're going to have to declare bankruptcy. That's the only way to recoup the money. Because the shareholders, this is a privately owned company that's not publicly traded, subsidized by their main corporation. Those shareholders are going to be pissed that they just lost a $17.9 billion contract. And you can read this. If you just look out under DOD cancels military, you'll see everything. And we get into this HR room. It's like 30 of us. And the lady goes, well, it was going to be business as usual. But if you are in this call, your last day will be this Friday. And then she's like, we're going to set you up with a severance package. And I told her, I said, I said straightforward. I said, well, that's not 60 days notice. And she's like, what are you talking about? I was like,
oh, I didn't know that.
I said, it
has to be 60-day notice?
No, you're a privately traded company with over 100 employees. Ooh, we have to have 60 days notice and 60 days pay. They offered us a week of a week pay. That was it. And now there's a class action lawsuit against them because they didn't offer the 60 days. They just fired everybody. So like in like 3 days, I was fired like 3 times from one job, which was hilarious. So I called my boss and I said, hey, my old boss. And I said, hey, just letting you know, because you told me to, that basically my last day for Home Safe is Friday, right? And he was like, oh, man, that sucks. He was like, I don't know if you'd be interested. He was like, I would pay you what you made, but we're very behind on billing. He's like, I don't know if you would want to do grunt work. And I said, you're going to pay me what I used to make. And all I have to do is bill. He was like, if I can, yeah. So he calls me that Thursday. He's like, hey, I'm overnighting a laptop. Can you start Monday? And I went, yep. So thank God. I very lucky that I didn't have to be unemployed for any amount of time. Yeah, but
sure.
And I feel bad for a lot of the people that left the old company and had to deal with that. And they're not getting their job back because it's just not busy enough. You know, hopefully it does ramp up and like we get more stuff. But man, it was just ridiculous. But as soon as that happened, I went and I was like, all right, I got to plan my YouTube presence again because I wanted to make videos and I had a couple done. I just never could post them. You know, I just didn't want to say anything because I didn't know the legality of everything. Because I know even if you sign an NDA, that never holds up in court. Like it just doesn't.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't with a
NDAs
lawyer.
Are always bullshit. Yeah.
Yeah. It wasn't with the lawyer. Yeah. Wasn't with a lawyer. It wasn't with anything else. So I was like, but I didn't want to deal with the hassle of it. You know what I mean? I just did. So like, then I was like, all right, fuck it. As soon as the weekend happened, I was like, I'm going to stream. I started boarding comics while I told that story, but like, it was just ridiculous, dude. Like listen, I'm telling you right now, the government doesn't give a fuck about pronouns or you, and they don't. What they care about is money. And if you make them money, you could be fucking,
dude, the government,
you could have 11 vaginas. They don't care.
The government doesn't even care about going into like deficit spending.
No.
They don't give a fuck if they spend everyone's money as long as they get money from you that they
Mhm.
already don't spend very well at all. It's crazy that, when Elon Musk tried to uncover all the fraud, like just the idea of it, it's like, hey, we already kind of know they don't spend the money very well, but what are they spending it on? And people were like, God damn, how dare you uncover things that we are already suspicious of and kind of confirmed. It's like, why would you be mad about that? But it didn't mean anything because, they didn't want those cuts to go through. So it's like, fucking hell.
I mean, the problem with that is like the places that people, they all of a sudden, as soon as someone has something that they dislike, they champion that whole thing until they're blue in the face. If this was a Democrat led thing, the loud people who are on the left, because they've always been loud, that's why they're the loud left, they would be like, can you look at what, if like Kamala won, could you see what Kamala did? She uncovered all of this fraud. We're revamping the IRS. We're getting rid of government workers. Why do they need 7,000 people in that office anyway? They could work it with 700.
Did you hear about these things when you were working in the government? Did you already know that Elon Musk was going to do it? Okay.
Oh yeah, I was getting communications all the time. Because military move, you can't really like. They have to have that. Like it's one of the most secure
Did your team
government
ever
jobs.
Interact with Elon Musk ever?
No. Okay. The only thing that I got from Doge was they needed to see reports from our audits. That's the only, but it wasn't from Elon Musk. It was from inside of Doge. Like I never had any. No, he wasn't going to talk to any of us. I did. When I left for that 1 week, we did go to Washington and we did do the whole, stand around and look at stuff because that's what Washington does. And I had to go to a bunch of meetings. And yeah, I would say this, if that company that I did work for, if they were smart, they would have taken all the high up people from our company and placed them in places where they knew what was going on, because the way they did things, they paid me a lot of money to just sit. First 7 weeks, I did nothing. I sat there and watched movies and played video games. And then all of a sudden they were like, hey, you need to start doing work. And I was like, no one's trained me to do anything here. What do you mean I need to do something? That's on you. It's not. So I come to a new job and I have to find work to do? That makes no sense. I was going to sit here and get paid until you told me to do something. Like, screw you. Like, I think that's also, they didn't know how to deal with that either. Like someone who had been in this business, perfect example, like the way agency works in this business is the agents work for us. We are the ones that get the agents to go do the field work, right? These people were so afraid to like make an agent mad. I was like, dude, if you would have seen some of the stuff I said at my old job to agents, I literally told an agent that you're not getting paid until you do this fucking job. And he tried to give me this sob story about like, well, if we don't get the money, I can't make payroll. I said, if your fucking business depends on one fucking check from one move and you can't make payroll, then you're in the wrong fucking business, dude. And you're conning people. Like I would tell them to eat shit. Like, you work for me, dick face. Like, do the job and I'll pay you. If you don't do the job, then I ain't giving you shit. Because as soon as I give money to you, I have to pay the government out. And the government's going to see that you didn't do the job. So I'm going to be held responsible. So go lick taint. Like they were like paying stuff out for, it was crazy, dude. Like some of the stuff, like I just felt like it was a big giant scam for some reason. I don't know why, like, but every feeling I got from every business that I've ever had any association with in this field, it just, like right from the gate, I was like, this is not good. The people, I ran the place that I work at now. I ran their billing department. So their great idea was, I tried to get a job as the head of billing. They said, no, we want someone from our parent company. And they were like, what we're going to do for you is we're going to put you in claims. I was like, I've never fucking done claims. I don't even know what that, like, is that like a return desk where I got to find missing stuff? Like, you serious? Like I'm a freaking,
you're their customer service rep.
I'm like an idiot savant when it comes to the numbers. Like, and you're going to put me in there. Like, I got to find boxes and stuff. Like, whatever. So I was just like, all right, whatever.
Good Lord. Fucking hell.
Yeah, it was hilarious though. But now I'm back.
Now?
I I can do whatever I want.
So you're back at the previous
I'm back at
company.
the job that I had before.
Okay, and that pays the same essentially?
Pays me the same. Yes.
Okay. So
yeah, because when I went to this new company, they did not want to pay me what I was already making because it was a lot more than what they offer new employees.
Oh,
And I
okay.
told them, I said, I'm not going to come there unless you pay me at least what I'm making. Why would I come do a job to make less money? I could just stay here.
Yeah,
Like, it
but
made no sense.
they probably said that bullshit of like, but it's the prestige of working for us. For a family, we'll take care of you. I guarantee they said some bullshit like that.
No, I would say stuff like, you don't pay my bills, but I pay my bills, so you better pay me what I'm worth. And what I'm worth is exactly what I'm making now. So if you want me, you either have to pay that or more. That's the way it works.
Maybe they should have hired you to go through Diamond Distributors, billing and financials to see how much money they actually owe, like a bunch of the publishers and the comic book stores.
I mean,
Good
as soon as I learn the system, I'm very good with with billing and financial and stuff like that. I mean, I handle millions of dollars every day at work. Like, it's just, I'm very good at it. Like, I don't know why. Like, I was never really good at like jobs and stuff because I was always working like, a food job or, like a warehouse job. But I got this job as a temp. Like, someone asked me like, hey, could you help out? And I was like, sure. And they were like, there's no guarantee that you'll be hired. It's just a temp job. But for some reason it clicked in my brain and I took it and I ran with it and they hired me on. And then it went from being a temp to running their billing department.
As it should. I tell people this, but it also depends on you meeting people in your life too to have this opportunity. Like
it did. It totally did. Because if I didn't know the guy that I knew, my family didn't, I never would have been offered the job. I never would have known about it.
Because you have some people that will just be going crazy about like money and everything. And it's like, dude, you're broke. And these guys don't want to do these certain jobs. It's like, hey, I get this job. You might be cleaning a toilet. You might be mopping a floor. But is that anything different than what you're doing right now? Because you're broke. You got nothing. I'd rather have something than nothing. But people get this mindset where it's like, but I'd rather actually be up at this like upper echelon, like way up here, than be like down here. It's like, no, dude, you're down here with us. You need to work your way to get up there. Unless you're
the problem with that, like, is I think like that was the same thing like with my wife. She wasn't worried. Like, I was a little bit worried whenever stuff was like, hey, you're not going to have a job type. She was like, Steve, like, ever since I've known you, you would like, if you don't have shame, if you had to go pump gas, you would do it for us. She was like, I'm not really worried about that. Like, because the main thing I was worried about wasn't us, like, and me and it's my mom. Like, a lot of the money that I get from work is I use that to pay for stuff for my mother.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah.
Oop, there goes an alarm. Turn off.
Yeah, like, hey, if my mom was still alive, I would make sure she has everything. But sadly, she is gone. She's been gone for a long time. But I just pretty much I'm all by myself. And my other people have asked about my family. It's like, I'm just a regular dude, because that's why personal life stuff I don't go over, because there's nothing that interesting. I'm just a regular 9-to-5 worker. I just come home, I do this, and I go to the gym, and that's it.
Yeah. Usually I don't talk, but people ask me, you know what I mean? They always want, like, because I'll have things and they'll be like, how do you afford all of this stuff? And like, I don't want to say anything, you know what I mean? Because I know money can like make people feel weird, like, trust me, I've had it happen.
They get instantly jealous. It's one of these things I had to learn, because before, when I was poor, I didn't know all this stuff that everyone who had people that had jobs and were successful would always say these things. And I was like, and you just don't see it. It's like a glass half full kind of mentality. Right. Then I noticed that when I actually got a job and I started making money, then a bunch of other opportunities started opening. But then you also had a bunch of other people that would like ask you for money, a bunch of
that happened quite a bit. And this was my rule with lending money. I didn't do it for everybody, but when I did it, and in my brain, I was like, don't expect this back. If I give this to you, you could say you're going to pay, but in my brain, it's not a loan. This is a gift.
I did that
because I don't want to deal with that, because all of a sudden it's like, I have to track you down. Like, you said you were going to pay, like, no, I'm not. Yeah. There's only one guy in my life that I will lend money to, because every single time that I've lent and not given, he has paid me back literally on the day that he said he would. So there's literally only one human being that, besides like my wife, you know what I mean? Like that's different. Like,
Oh, you got to make her pay interest. That's how it works with the wife.
No. Surprisingly, she doesn't ask for much. She works her own job and like does her own stuff. But like joint finance stuff, like if we make a big purchase, like I'll do.
The only person, so like there was 3 people. There was this girl that would ask for money. I didn't give her much. It was like $20 here and there, but it accumulated. It's like $100, and she didn't pay me back. I was like, okay. After learning that, I was like, I'm never loaning it out again. And then I did it for my brother one time. His car got like repoed, essentially, not impounded, repoed. Then he paid me back. Actually, he actually paid me on the day. And then he had his girlfriend at the time asked for money, and then she did pay me back. But then she asked for it again, and then she didn't pay me back. And I was like, okay. So like I just did
lesson learned. You know what I mean? And that was I learned that. And it's weird because the guy who taught me that was this person in my parents' church. He was just like, look, he was like, people are gonna ask you for money now. Like he's like, if you're gonna give it to him, he was like, just give it to him. Don't expect, because obviously they're hurting. They're asking another human being for money. You know, if they say they're going to pay you back, he said, let the lie be on them. Don't let the lie consume you. And I was like, that makes sense. That does, because like, you know, like if you lend money and it's going to hurt you to the point where if they don't pay you back, you're going to be screwed, then you shouldn't be lending money to begin with. You know what I mean? Like if you say, oh, I got paid this week, and within the next 2 weeks, you needed that money before then to pay a bill or something. Oh, I'll pay you this Friday. So it's like 5 days away, but they don't pay. Like I would never do that. I would never pay money if I didn't have excess. So, but like stuff like that, like if we're out like and stuff like that, I always pay for people, like that type of thing. Cause that's different. Like if me and you like met up and we went out somewhere, I would pay for it. Cause it doesn't, you know what I mean? Like, I don't care. Like, because I know you would offer the same thing in return.
Oh, you're white. That's reparations for me.
Oh, shut up.
Like on the internet.
It is, dude. You're going to sit there in your little tab. Like that's $47 of reparations. You owe me another 250 years worth of money.
Sound like a Jew. Okay. Good
hey
Lord.
Now.
Oh, goodness. Because, you know, on the internet, there's these things in real life that are just really big on the internet, like who pays on the first date. I always say this. If you're the guy asking the girl, you should pay. You're the one asking her to go out with you. I think that's just, I don't know, an ethical thing. It's like, hey, for the one asking the person to go out, then I would assume from a girl's position that you'd pay if I was a girl, you know? But if it's one of those, like, I just don't get why people make a big deal of it. It's like, do we split the check? Who pays more? It's like, also, if you can't afford to do that and you're going to bitch and moan about it, you shouldn't have done it anyway. You know what I mean?
You shouldn't have gone out on the date to begin with. I don't know, because my thing, like with my wife, is whenever we first got together, she was making so much more money than I was. Like, she always tried to pay for everything, and I would be like, let me pay. She would look at me and be like, dude, you don't make any money. Like, no. I'm like, damn it. But now, like, if we do stuff, I try to pay for everything.
Oh, also, when we were away, not doing the show, Jim Shooter, the legendary editor,
man,
comics, is gone. He's
the
dead.
Legendary dickhead Jim Shooter.
I felt odd because I should have messaged him to come on the show and talk to him, but I didn't do it because I felt like he would never respond. So it's like one of those, like, you missed
out on it, man. You missed out on the great creative mind of toys and Secret Wars.
I literally I think because you guys know John's Longbox, he had him on his show, and I was like, okay, I could probably talk to Jim Shooter. I've heard of his name before. I know what he's did for Marvel, and they, Marvel bullshit they have with the creators. And I was like, I got the email up, and I was like, no, he's probably gonna say no, and I never did it. And it's like, goddamn. Now I'm looking back and going, I should have did it. It's like, what was stopping me from doing it? You know?
You should do it for everybody, dude. Like, I'd be like, if I was doing the type of show that you were doing, I'd be sending emails to everybody, direct messages, everything. I wouldn't care. The worst they're gonna say is no, get away from me, you weirdo.
There was one guy,
and I'll be like, all right, whatever.
There was a recent one where I was like, I saw his video on Rumble, and I was like, oh, so check his channel. It seemed like a pretty legit person. Messaged him. I was like, hey, man, you want to come on the show? You seem like a pretty cool person. Then he was like, no, thank you. And I was like, oh, okay. And then he made another message, which was, I don't know who you are. I don't know, and I don't know why I'm getting invited on the show. I'm never messaging you again. Goodbye.
That's the weirdest one. Why would you ask me to be on your show? Well, idiot, you make content that's similar kind of to mine, and we might have interest
He's
in.
like, I have no clue who you are. He's like, I have no clue who you are, and I don't know why I was like, but people on Rumble always tell me, hey, go and interact with to be fair, that's actually the only Rumble person that has ever actively acted like that. Everyone else has been pretty cool, honestly. But it's like, I don't get that was just weird. It's like, of course we don't know who we are. We're all fucking nobodies. We're all literally nobodies in the grand scheme of things, you know?
Yeah, but you know how it is, dude. Like when you're YouTube and you got like once you cross that million, you know what I mean? Like you're in the pantheon of famous people, and I couldn't lower myself to be on your. How many subscribers do you have? What does that matter? I don't understand. Do you have time to talk to me or not? Like whether or not I have subscribers has absolutely nothing to do with the person that I am. Would you like to come on? No? Okay, move on.
Yeah, I thought that was and that first message he sent was fine. It was like, okay, I'm move on. That's totally fine. Yeah, and then the second message was, I don't know who you are, and I don't know why I'm getting invited to the show. It's like, dude, you already said you weren't joining. You didn't give me a reason. You already said no. It's fine. I just move on. It's like people know I have a lot of people that I could bring on the shows, but it's just after a certain point, it was like, you know what? I just want to have these people on because we can build the best synergy and we make the best shows possible.
I mean, I'll tell you what, dude. I am glad that I did check that because it was like you sent me a message. I never check Twitter. I just don't. And it was like 8 months later, I responded. The best part about that is you responded to me after that. Like no time had passed. Like I didn't not see your message for 8 months. And you were just like, hey, yeah, let's do it. And I was like, oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, because like there are people that get back later because Twitter messaging requests are weird because there's so many bot accounts that'll be messaging people that they just don't even look at anything.
I just never check Twitter.
There was this girl too. She was the same way. She was like, I don't know why I'm getting invited. And I was like, all right. Like she made it so weird. She was like, I can't do this. I have all these problems in my life. And I was like, I don't care. I was like, all right, it's crazy. Like, people on the internet think their self-worth is so much higher. Like, keep in mind, I'm not even trying to brag. Most of the people I bring on have literally a 10th of this amount of followers and subs that I do. But like you said, I don't care about that. I just want to talk to you, the person. I could care less if you had 10 subs, 1 sub, 100, 500. Doesn't matter to me. If I feel like you have some value, I want to talk to you.
I agree. And I mean, like, I think the group that you have around now is pretty cool. Like, I could see any of the panel shows, any one of us, if someone was gone, could fill in. I think it wouldn't miss, a beat. Yeah. Like, it would be like it would like the people that are on there all the time. Like, if Gray couldn't make it or something, because people
fuck that guy. He's
Gray.
Weird.
Yeah, okay.
He's a clout chasing bastard for a reason. God.
And I knew, as soon as I met Savage, I knew me and him would get along. I knew that.
He's white. Yeah, you guys have the thing going on. Married, white guy with like 3 kids. It's just,
Jesus.
Oh, dude, this popped in my head just when I was at work Monday. Do you remember back in like 2021 before Black Adam came out for DC that a Wonder Twins movie was in development?
Yes,
do you remember
Wonder
that?
Twins, yes. Form of terrible movie.
I that thought randomly popped in my house. Like, wait a minute, they were gonna make a Wonder Twins movie at one point.
So do you think that like since the Superman has been released,
you want to see the Rotten Tomato score because it came out?
It's really high.
Yeah, let's look at it right now. I was gonna make a video about it, but it's a little too late now. We'll probably over tomorrow.
I mean, it's very high, and so
it might have dropped. I have no clue.
Last I saw it was like at 91.
Let me look at it right now because the Superman Rotten Tomato score is in. They don't have the audience score yet because that would be obviously when it comes to a Thursday.
Like worldwide. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's do critic reviews. Yep, we're on the same page. Okay, give me 1 second. Yes,
I'll just say this. So this is I don't like hearing anything about movies before I go in to see it. So it's went down a little bit. It was at 91 before.
And it stayed at 87 because when it was at 91, it had 55 critic reviews, and now it's at 87 with 138. So it's being pretty much not stagnant, but it's pretty consistently going to be probably around 85. I think at lowest it'll drop to be like 84, 85 maybe.
So this is what I heard about the movie, and I was telling the terrorists, I was like, please don't tell me, but they were like, they already started, but nothing to ruin the movie.
Okay.
They said that there is a lot thrown at you. There's a lot of shit everywhere, but they don't do an origin, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
And for people that read Superman and know Superman, it pays off a lot more for you because you definitely have to go into the movie knowing about Superman. And they said there's a lot of things that are like some things that are campy, but that's good in my opinion because
I always find campy cool. That's what superheroes are.
If they have like what I thought was missing from a lot of the Superman movies after the Christopher Reeve ones, because me and my mom we sat down and we watched 1 and 2. We watched the Donner cut of 2, which I don't understand why everybody thinks it's like this way better version. There are things in it that are better, but the ending is literally the same as the fucking first movie.
Dude, it was the same thing when people told me about the director's cut for Halloween 6, The Curse of Michael Myers. I was like, this is the same shit, and it's also just as bad.
Yeah,
awful too.
So it's like there are a lot of differences, but the ending is the same. Now they do take out the stupid weird scene where Superman pulls the plastic S off of him and throws it at the dude. Like that's not in there, which is great. That's the biggest. That scene where they're in the Fortress of Solitude. That's where most of the differences are in the Donner cut. But the end of it, instead of like them acknowledging what happened, you know, Lois and him acknowledging it, and then Superman magically kisses her memory away, which is still stupid. They literally took the footage from the first movie where he spins the world backwards. He does it again in the Donner cut for the second one.
Dude, I haven't seen the Donner cut in years. I barely remember the second one. I know the first one very well, and then I remember that he lasered the Great Wall of China in the fourth one. So
the fourth one is so bad. So anyway,
one where he got drunk and he almost beat up someone. Was that 3?
It's either 3 or 4. It has to, because I saw the first 2 and it wasn't in there. So
yeah, those movies' quality really dropped off after the
first one. Yeah, well, even the second one's still good as a movie. Like it's still, but the third and fourth, 100% sure. Because like Donner, like they were filming him as like sister movies at the same time. That's why there was so much footage left for them to make a Donner cut of the second movie. But anyway, so one of the things that I thought was missing from like all the other Superman movies that came after it was like things like where he would interact with people. Like there was always like a couple minutes of scenes where like in a Christopher Reeve movie where he's like getting the cat out of the tree, getting, you know, the interaction between people and him being just being Superman without this great threat always looming, you know what I mean? Like there, so I'm hoping they show some of that stuff, you know what I mean? Like that would be cool, so we get to know him on that level. But I've heard, you know, like I said, I heard it's all over the place, but for the most part, people that I've talked to liked it. Now there's 100% there are going to be old guys that are like my age and older that are going to bitch and moan and complain because that is the only thing they know how to do anymore. Even though they might like a show or like something, it's very few and far between that they actually give anything the credit it deserves while they tout the shows that they like, which are just as shit, if not worse. That always gets me when someone like, I hate this. This is so bad. This is so fucking retarded. This is this. What's your favorite show? Blah, blah, blah. Like Gone Girl. You're like, shut the fuck. Like
it's literally the saying that we used to have growing up. It's the saying of like pretending your shit doesn't stink. It's literally that thing.
It is. Right. Exactly. And it's like, it's just like the same guy. I have problems with old guys with comic books. I'm not saying you have to read new stuff, but not everything new is garbage. It's just not.
I never understood that argument with people that made either. I was like, so that must mean you're telling me that everything old is good. It's like, I don't know about that because
listen, MSK, I've already shown how many comics from the old days that were just as stupid and just as dumb. Like, don't get me wrong, the quality of writing, in my opinion, was better. like comics like Starman. I know I use this all the time, but like that was still a big comic in the 80s. It wasn't big like, Batman and stuff like that, but like that shit sold. You know what I mean? And the art was, in my opinion, the art was more consistent. Like the artists were consistent. Like there's artists now, don't get me wrong, there's great artists now, right? But when you hear like this guy's on a book, right? Dan Mora or something like that, you're like, oh shit, like that's gonna be awesome. Just like Hush 2. People were freaking out because Jim Lee's on a book again. Well, back then it was like you still had that with your artists, but even books like Starman had fantastic art. Like they were great. And it's just one of those things, dude. It's just, the medium doesn't sell nearly as much. I think with pirating, like it does make a big difference, because there are times where I go onto certain sites to look, if I want to read a book and I don't want to pay for it right away and see if I'm interested, I will. I'll download it. I will. But if I like it, I will go out and buy it. Like DC and Marvel cannot say I do not support them, because I got freaking like almost everything All In has to offer besides regular run Wonder Woman and Zatanna. Okay.
Wait, you're not a fan of Tom King bringing back we already know this. Oh, good Lord. You guys don't know how bad some of that stuff really was, honestly. Oh, because my thing was not with older versus new comics. My thing was when people would lie and they would say things like, I've read everything. There's not, even from when comics began, there's no possible way for someone to read everything. It is impossible. So when people are judging like the books they're reading, and let's be honest here, they're probably only getting the big name title stuff anyway, right? So if you're just getting the big name title stuff and you're saying every book is bad, well, that is insanely disingenuous, because you're only reading like maybe at one point 5-6 books max, and that might be a piece, that might be for one company. It's like you said, how can someone say everything's bad when you're reading just 3-4 books? That would just be ridiculous. I'm not even saying read everything, because like this is what I even say for like new movies, and people say, oh, I can't afford to go to the theater. It's like these movies come out very fast digitally. Just type the movie in and you can find it somewhere. It's not impossible. It's literally not impossible at all.
Like we know, like I have pretty much every not like Shadow of the Bat and Legends of the Dark, but Batman and Detective Comics. Right. I have from Detective Comics number 27 all the way up till about 1979. So about 30. I have all the Golden Age omnibuses. There's like 6 back here or 5, and then I have 4 upstairs. But I have the Silver Age, and I'm working on the Bronze Age. I got the 3 that are out now, but I also have in singles tons. Like I have pretty much, I'm probably missing about a decade of Batman, of mainline Batman and Detective Comics.
That's what I was gonna ask you. Do you think they'll ever print the run Chuck Dixon had on Batman before Nightfall came out? I know he did a run on Batman.
Yeah.
Did it? I know it's been in trade, but
no, they'll get it back, because if you look at the DC's finest stuff that they're doing,
you're right, they'll be in there.
There's a lot of stuff. Like, dude, I was just looking like, why would I go out and buy like the 0 Hour omnibus, right? When I could buy literally volume 1 and 2
the finest, and it's like
the
$40.
0 Hour, and it's $40 for both.
Yeah,
it's $22 for volume 1 and like 20, and it has literally all the same stuff in it.
That's what I told Savage Dad. It's like, if you want to get 0 Hour, just get the finest books that are coming out. The finest books are reprinting all that old stuff. Like I also do this. It's like those old comics. Like if the comics are that old, are gonna get all printed in one place. I don't want to go through back issues and surf them. They're gonna be collected.
No, and that's fine. And that's fine. And I understand where you're coming from. I understand that. I totally get that. But for like someone like me or him who has been collecting since like singles were really the only way to go, like at that point in time, there are things that I do want to get that finish out a collection. Now, if I could just have the trades and I could like let go of things, which I need to do, trust me, there are like, I have about probably 150 long boxes that I haven't gone through, and probably like at least over 100 like giant tubs of boarded so there's a lot. I need to get rid of a lot of stuff. I need to go through it, inventory it, and like get rid of a lot of things, like either donate or give to someone who's starting to collect. I would love to do that. Like, here you go. Here's a bunch of stuff. I used to give away, like, dude, I used to give away so much stuff on my channel. And like, dude, I offered this one. I was doing this Batman contest, right? Because I figured like, oh, that might get people to want, but nobody
Giveaways
did.
always should be just
But they didn't. It just didn't work for me because like I just didn't have enough people. The guy who ended up winning, I had to send it to Turkey, right? Dude, the amount of shit that was in that thing. Like, dude, I gave away like the Blu-ray of the Batman animated series was in there. Like 50 different Batman comics were in there. T-shirts, hats, like this whole thing. It was huge, dude. It was gigantic. The box that I had to send was huge. It cost like $80 something to send. My buddy made like how I have this Power Rangers thing right here, the Tommy. My buddy made a Batman symbol on a canvas, on a black canvas, and I gave that with them too. Like, there was all this stuff that I gave away, and I've even tried to like, hey, if you want, at one point in time during my live streams, I was like, anybody who comments that they want this, I'll send it to you. And it was like, I've tried to give away stuff, and it's like, you know, yeah, you might be the recipient of a lot of my stuff.
Oh, it was the Dark Knight Detective volumes. Those weren't my bad. Those weren't Chuck Dixon. That's Mike W. Barr. Or Chuck Dixon had a few runs on Batman too. It's like they definitely need Dark Knight Detective in a DC's Finest collection. That'd be fucking awesome if they ever did that.
What I've liked is that they did do the Elseworld stuff, because there's a lot of Elseworlds Batman single stories that I like. So I'm gonna be picking that up. So I'm like kind of happy about that. But with Amazon Prime days for the next 4 days,
It's true.
I'm very worried about myself.
I've already did it to myself.
Look, this is the basket that I had today that I ordered, and I was like, I should not have done this.
Like, I need the Dark Knight Detective Volume 1 reprinted. I mean, I could go on eBay and get it, but they're charging like $130 for the trade, and it's like, that is $130 for a trade. Like, it'd be basically a borderline a smaller Epic collection, but it's like $130 for an Epic. That's crazy.
So I did 0 Hour Part 1 and 2 DC's Finest. I did Final Night reprinting because I have the issues, but I want the trade. I did Mutant Massacre, and I did the Mutant Massacre Prelude Omnis. I did finally get the DC versus Marvel Omni. I got Days of Future Past, which I needed, even though I have it in singles and in that. Then I was getting into this really big Silver Surfer kick, right? I have all 10 Epic collections now. And now I started going for like the Infinity Watch and like all the Infinity Watches. And then I got a couple t-shirts that I wanted. The Avengers Kang Dynasty Omni, Nightwing Compendium. And then I bought a bunch of the World's Finest 2025, like the Mark Waid, Dan Mora run. I got all those volumes. And then I started it's got worse, dude. I got the X-Men collection, Epic collection, Legacies. I got a bunch of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia stuff. I got my mom a bunch of books from this author that she likes. It was just a bunch of paperback books.
Okay.
Then I picked up the Mark Waid Volume 2 Flash, and then I got the Spider-Man Black Costume Omni. I got the Doom and 2099 Fantastic Four 2099 Omni. I got a anime that I love called Perfect Blue, which I wanted the steel box. It's a Blu-ray steel box, which I wanted. Then I got the absolute Superman and Batman. I pre-ordered.
You pre-ordered the hardcovers or the trade paperbacks?
The hardcovers.
Yeah, I like hardcovers more. I think they're just better.
And then I got like a bunch of other stuff, but I spent like $2,000 something like in the span of like 10 minutes. And I was like, it's only day one. I'm like, crap. What do I do? What do I do? And my wife was like, well, just think of it like this. You know, if if you want to go out there and get the stuff that you want, at least it'll be cheaper right now. And I'm like, you're not helping. You're supposed to help. And she was like, just get it. And I'm like, all right, I will.
Because what's the worst that could happen? Getting more books.
Yeah.
God forbid we read them and review
Hey,
them.
Listen, I could see my wife would say, I could see if you didn't read the things. She was like, but you read them also, like, you know.
Mm-hmm. Do you have any manga 3-in-1 or manga omnibuses?
I don't have any manga stuff. I have the Akira collection that came in like the big box, like, because I love that. I have a bunch of the Naruto volumes. Okay. What else do I have? My wife has the Attack on Titan stuff. She likes that.
Likes that? Okay. Mm-hmm. That's cool.
She reads a lot of stuff like webtoons and manga stuff. She loves that whole.
I keep hearing
Japanese
webtoons is huge.
Culture. It is very large right now. It's basically colored manga. That's what it is.
It's just not. It's just all digital. It's not physical.
It's all digital. Yeah. It looks just like manga. It's the same. It's literally, dude. Like it could be in Shonen Jump if it was just not colorized. Like it could be in there because there are some very serious stories. And then there's also like that chibi stuff, that cutesy stuff that girls like that I don't care for. But she's like into stuff that's like Sweet Home and like stuff like that like horror stuff. She loves that crap.
Did you hear the story that just the cover of Action Comics #1 sold for almost like $400K?
It's crazy, isn't it?
That is insane. It's crazy how people will pay that when they've reprinted Action Comics #1 in the Superman Golden Age omnibuses. But people just want it single, and it's like,
yeah, you can get this Superman's Golden Age omnibuses, some of them for very cheap.
Yeah, they actually just reprinted the first volume, the 2025 edition, just not too long ago. Actually,
yeah, it's cheap. I know there's 10 of them, and I think I got like 6 of them. I think I have like about 6. That's one I have to finish collecting.
Someone bought a cover of Action Comics.
Just a cover. Yeah, just the cover.
Like DC literally just printed Superman, the first superhero, DC's finest collection.
So like that's different. Like, so you're a different type of comic book reader collector person.
Yeah.
There's people like they don't look at it like that. They're looking at like this is from the time it was originally printed. I have a piece of history right here. I'm not that big into that because people are like, when I've had people over that do read comics, they'll look through it and they'll be like, dude, you have Daredevil #7. You should get this graded. And I'm like, if I get it graded and put in those fucking stupid things, I can't fucking read it. They're like, you read this? Yes. When I want to read Daredevil, I start at the beginning.
What an absolute crazy, mind-blowing thing. You get these to read? Yeah, guys, it's what you should do, I'd imagine, right? I
mean, it's, I could understand people's things. And like, it's the same thing with the Jordan shoes, man. Like, I've had so many people, like, whenever I have to post on Reddit because there's people there that will trade or like sell, I hate doing it because the shoe community is one of the worst. I hated doing communities.
That.
They're the worst, dude.
Cards. I hated dealing with people. I just would rather buy it and keep it myself. Honestly,
they're the worst, dude. Like they'll sit there and be like, "Dude, what fit you gonna put with that?" And I'm like, "What fit? What the fuck? What is that?" And they're like, like outfit. I'm like, dude, I'm not an 11-year-old girl. I don't have outfits. I put fucking t-shirts and pants on. Well, how do you match your shoes to it, dude? What? I like Michael Jordan. I grew up watching him. What do you like? What? You're an idiot. That's what you are. You're an idiot.
Just like that one guy who gave me that long paragraph on that comic book Market Watch episode I did. I was like, dude, you're thinking way too hard about this. I'm just here talking about books. I'm not trying to act like on this encyclopedia for knowledge. I never even said this. I just want to talk about books and leave.
I know. I had it out with that guy. That was funny.
Yep.
He was stupid.
He got mad because I blocked him. I was like, I'm not going to talk to you. I'm good. I don't have to talk to you. That's how you want to interact. I think we can be done.
Yeah, like, he tried to say that you didn't read. There's no way you're reading any of those things. I was like, well, that's just not true because I literally like reviewed comics with the guy.
There's a channel I have where we literally post the reviews there.
Yeah, and all of the
my
all
favorite
of I
one.
said all of them that we do, we actually have the issues in our hands
Yeah,
when we're
I'm crazy.
doing it.
But I forgot that's a cardboard wall, just like in that Family Guy episode. The house was just a cardboard background.
It's got to hide that amazing bed that you have that
I think
fits into the
what
wall.
was my favorite one we did?
So my favorite
one. That one was very fun.
The trade.
The Absolute Power hardcover, that was very fun. It was hard to get through. Not far.
But I'd say it was probably that might have been the most funny in because that whole thing with John Kent's boyfriend, dude, I couldn't get over it. I think we laughed for like 15 minutes on that. I just couldn't get over it. How like they're like championing this like LGBTQ thing, and then they were like, "Fuck him!" Like fuck this guy.
Or no, dude, remember how Amanda Waller tried playing up the DC heroes were bad and they wanted everyone to go after them? Remember that hero that he almost got beaten to death? Like we learn at the end of the book that, oh yeah, he was beaten to death. He'll recover. I was like, wait, what? How was he beaten to death and he's gonna recover? Wait, that doesn't make any sense.
Remember the lightning dude that she was like testing the lightning and he blew up, and then they're like, oh, we could just get another one. Like, damn it.
I was glad Amanda Waller stopped being the main big bad for everything. She was the big bad for that.
Well, she was. The movies they do that night. Obviously, like, don't get me wrong, I like Amanda Waller as a character.
Yeah,
I think she's very good foil. But they did it in the movies because she was a black chick. That's like, you could do your main movie if you're doing Suicide Squad. Totally understandable. Totally get it. I understand that. That's her deal. But like a lot of these other things, like in pushing her in the narrative of like she's going to do everything, that's why it didn't work as well. Like Absolute Power could have been really cool. Like obviously it was awesome to look at because Dan Mora is the shit. But like dude, trying to turn Oliver Queen, like really, dude, like none of us thought that Oliver Queen wasn't gonna help the Justice League. Like his wife is on there. Like, come on, people.
Gosh, it's like one of those things, like in like new Jurassic Park movie. It's like, I don't believe this person's gonna die. I just don't think you have the balls to do it. And they want to convince us in Absolute Power.
Did anything die in Jurassic Park?
Allegedly in Minecraft.
Oh, so nothing died in Jurassic Park.
Nothing important, I would say.
The new movie. It wasn't.
There was a movie. Dinosaurs attack people. Dinosaurs.
Was there any suspense?
That was fine. They did suspenseful moments pretty well for me.
Okay.
You know, there was some. I know Gray didn't like it that much, and it's fine. I thought it was just a dumb popcorn flick movie.
That's what I look at it as. Like, don't get me wrong. The first one was definitely a big cinema. Like, it was a big deal for cinema. I mean, I think that was the last, like, one of the last movies I ever saw with my dad in the theater. Like, the fact that he went to see that in the theater was like huge because my dad never did anything with me like that. And I got him to go see it. yeah, you do. So like it was a big deal, you know, and it's ever since then they just kept progressively getting worse, in my opinion. But you could never top that. You know, like, how do you top that, seeing that on the screen for the first time?
I don't know if you've seen Fallen Kingdom or Jurassic World Dominion, but this movie basically kind of, it puts the franchise in a position now where they're just locked into a corner because they basically just want movies where it's just the plot of Jurassic Park 3 and Jurassic Park 2 again.
What was the one with the little girl that had the DNA of the... What was that?
That was Fallen Kingdom and Dominion.
Okay, so I think I saw that. Those were the ones with Chris Pratt, and he had like the blue raptor.
He was named Dylan.
The blue raptor or something.
Yeah. I even like that more in the movie. That was a nice, cool thing. They just didn't have that in this movie.
I saw that, and then they had the kids that were in like the bubble machine car thing, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I did see that one. Or those two, or whatever. I know I saw ones with Chris Pratt in it. I know I did see that.
You can tell Steven Spielberg had a big impact on certain scenes and how they went if you watch this one. It pays. Okay. It's like, Gray was right. now that I think about it, Gray was right more. It is kind of like Force Awakens to A New Hope. It really is, you know. But it's just one of those things where I just didn't care about any of the characters, though.
That's the problem. Like
Scarlett Johansson's really hot. She's beautiful.
That's the problem. If you have Scarlett Johansson, she's fantastic. If you can't make her interesting, then that's on the director.
She literally isn't. Even Mahershala Ali, he's black. He's not interesting. It's like, man, why is this guy not Blade? It's like they want to be
right? Exactly. Why is it? Yeah, exactly.
I was watching it, literally thinking like, why is this guy not Blade? This guy would make a perfect fucking Blade, but Marvel and their bullshit right now. And then they want to convince me that doctor dude is gonna snag Scarlett Johansson. It's like, no, we're not stupid in real life. We're not. The nerd isn't getting the hot babe at the parties.
That very rarely happens. Like it's like such a minute. Prospect of happening, because like I was in the nerd group because like I was very tall and lanky and weird looking when I was a youth, and we did not get any of the pussy. Let me tell you that was not in our repertoire of things. That was not on our schedule.
Gosh, man, and it's I understand nostalgia, and I understand when they had throwbacks to the original movie. They even had the same score it was John Williams that did the score for Jurassic Park, first one, right? I think, or it's the other famous score composer. One of them I know did the
score. I think it's John Williams, right?
It's basically the ending theme song from the first one is the ending theme for this movie. It's like they tried in certain areas with this movie. That's why I was like, okay, it didn't feel like they completely ran it down like they did in Fallen Kingdom and Dominion, and I was like, okay, there's some effort here. It's just
John Williams did Jurassic Park. Yeah,
it felt like whoever wrote the movie, because Gareth Edwards directed it. Because directors sometimes don't write the movie; it's a different person.
No, yeah, they usually have a writer, and then the screenplay gets written by usually like a team of people or like a duo or something. I'm not 100% sure, but I know.
Yeah, because it was written by David Coep, and it just felt like him and Gareth Edwards really idolized Steven Spielberg, and they wanted to create something in the spirit of what he did,
like an homage to Spielberg, basically.
But then the problem is when you run into that, you're not making something new.
Your own,
something you want. Yeah,
and that can be good and bad. That can be double-edged, because you could get something like, see, I didn't think The Force Awakens was as horrible as some people say, right? Mm-hmm. I just didn't care for the characters. Like Rey was uninteresting to me, and the John Boyega character was the only one who was interesting in that movie. But then what they did with him was just so stupid afterwards that it made me not care. Right. But the problem when you have is if they go out and do something that is their own, how awful is it going to be, especially with the way movies are nowadays? So like, if you stick to the formula, that might suck because you're like, oh, I've seen this before. But it might just be called like new coat of paint. That's all it is, And but then there's the other part of the sword where it's like they're creatively bankrupt anymore. Because like it shouldn't be, those movies and stuff like that, those remakes, those shouldn't be like the main attraction. They should be. They can exist, and that's great. Like, I've seen people like shit on How to Train Your Dragon, right? And I'm like, I can understand because the animated one is so good. But I'll say this, the special effects in that movie were some of the best special effects I've seen in a very long time.
Oh, you took your son to see How to Train, the remake of the original. Okay.
Yeah, he wanted to see it, and like he thought it was okay. He liked the animated one better.
Yeah.
He wanted to see it though because he was like, ooh, cool, but like, yeah, it was whatever. But the special effects though, I was like, that's what we need for like these movies that are gonna use heavily CGI, like, because it looked like they took the time and care into it.
Yeah, and that's the thing what happened with Jurassic World Rebirth, which was like, I can tell Gareth Edwards didn't phone it in, but it's also one of those things of like, is Hollywood going to be trapped in this cycle of we're just going to play it extremely safe with movies and have just awful characters, or do we kind of do something completely off the rails, and that's going to be bad. So they're just trapped in this perpetual state.
Yes.
People, I understand. It's like if you're not doing something that you want to do, and you're just paying a complete homage to another movie, then you're not doing anything different. You know,
like I went and saw Sinners a while ago. I forgot, I saw that. So
the Ryan Coogler movie, yeah, that one.
Yeah, and for the first hour of the movie, I was like, "What in the fuck am I watching? Like, what is happening in this movie? Like, this is kind of boring, right?"
Mm-hmm.
And then once the vampire stuff started happening, it totally turned. It literally flipped a switch, and then it was like, boom, we're a vampire movie now. And it was crazy. I was like, whoa. But the impact that the vampires made and the stuff that happened was so much more impactful because I got to know and breathe with these characters for a while, and they were interesting. So when all the stuff started happening, you were more affected by it. You know what I'm saying? It was.
But I can't wait to watch Superman next week. Oh, Monday we're gonna do the Superman open spoiler discussion, 7 p.m.
on Monday.
Yeah, because I'm watching Superman Monday.
Oh, you're going next Monday?
I'm going Monday because I don't have time. I would love to go opening Thursday, but Thursday I got called into work. I got called into work. I was gonna work today anyway. I got called into work later that day. So I'm gonna watch it Monday, and we're gonna have the open spoiler discussion.
I'll be on.
Make sure you be on your best behavior. Don't yell at people with different opinions, you bastard.
I don't yell at them.
You yell at me.
You're not people.
What am I?
You live inside my computer.
Am I an illegal immigrant? Holy fuck! Yeah, damn.
No,
But no, I do want a good movie.
Yeah.
I mean, I know people. I feel like the media, not James Gunn, I feel like the media has tried to tarnish the movie, honestly, with their misleading headlines and bullshit narratives. I don't think it's going to be whatever people think it's going to be from what the media frames as. It's crazy to me how people will be like, the media sucks, and then immediately when the media points out a headline, people are like, oh my god, they're true, they're right. What?
It's the only thing that I'm worried about is if they mention anything say a woman has a line where she says something about being a woman, people will be like, this is so woke, this is so this. What the fuck, man? You see this oh man, it's just ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And I'm just gonna be like, fucking Christ, dude.
James Gunn, please don't do that, please.
God. People are bitching about what he's been saying, right? What James Gunn has been saying. It's like, well, he's not saying anything different than what he would say when he did Guardians. And that was still a good movie. Who cares what he says? Let's see what the movie does.
Let's be honest. There have been many Hollywood creatives, directors, writers, producers where they've said whatever they've said, but the movie doesn't even reflect what they've been saying at all. That happened with Lightyear.
And it's right. Oh my god, yes.
For they're trying to make a big thing about the whole gay kiss thing. First of all, they don't even touch lips in the movie. It's literally it cuts before they kiss at all. And the gay character they had, it wasn't some woke gay black lady. She was an actively really good character. She just happened to be gay.
I said even in the Eternals, right? With the gay couple, they made such a huge deal about it, right? But when you watch it, as terrible as that movie was, the only believable couple in that movie were the two gay dudes.
Right?
They were the only couple that I was like, oh, these people actually like each other. Because that freaking forced sex scene with what's his name?
And one stroke.
Oh my god, dude. And how high, he was banging her in her stomach. He was so far up high. I'm like, dude, that's not how it's done.
It was Gemma Chan is one of the worst.
Oh my god, dude, that was so bad.
Marvel. Remember, she's the only MCU character to be a villain and a hero because she was in Captain Marvel. She was blue. She was fucking hell. I forgot who she was.
I know, yeah. But
she was in Captain Marvel. She was in Crazy Rich Asians. She was in this movie. She was in The Creator. Gemma Chan is a trash leading actress.
Dude, and they think she's great, and I'm like, she was so bland the entire time.
No charisma, no synergy. No. Even with Denzel Washington's son, she had no chemistry with him at all.
They tried to whenever she did the thing when she was changing the properties. Remember how she did that to when she did the big one that was supposed to be the biggest. I can't do this. It's too big. It's too big. She made the same face as she did when she changed a cup from this to this, and it was just I'm like, what am I watching you for? You sucked the life out of every scene. It was awful. Like that movie was. I don't know why. Like Marvel thought, you know what we need for our action movies?
Chow mein.
What we need is a Oscar-winning director. And it's like they took one of
Where
the
she
most.
said, remember where she said, to add on to what you said, she said Zack Snyder's Man of Steel is the blue. She said Zack Snyder was the
Is the blueprint? Yes.
One of the dumbest things I've ever heard a director say ever. Zack Snyder's not the blueprint for anything but slow motion.
Well, I'll say this. I will say this. If you actually, and I'm not saying that they're good, please don't take that. But if you go back and you watch Man of Steel and then the director's cut, the unrated version of Batman vs Superman, which is a lot better than the original. It is, not saying that it's good, but it is a lot better. And then you watch Wonder Woman and then Justice League. There is more continuity in those movies from movie to movie than there is in a lot of the MCU. Like, whether you like those movies or not is one thing. But I did a rewatch with my buddy John just because we wanted to do it, and I was so surprised at how much went from this movie to this movie to this movie to this movie.
The same thing I said about the CW. I get the CW is really bad after like a lot of the shows, but they did. You could tell the creators behind it actively did try to make a cohesive universe that you could follow, and I can respect that. You know, keep in mind how different that is for. They had like 5 different TV shows. Bunch of different writers, producers, actors.
How was their Crisis on Infinite Earths crossover? I heard a lot of people liked it.
I only started it from the Flash show, and then I watched the rest of the parts in the other people's shows. I thought it was fine. It was fine.
Yeah, I heard a lot of people loved it. They like.
Oh no, a lot of people definite standout scenes. There's some really good standout scenes, honestly.
Like a lot of people love those CW shows.
Jonathan Cryer as Lex Luthor knocked it out of the park.
So I've heard that too. I've heard he was great
Alan
on
from 2.5 Men?
Yeah, I know who he is because he's also in Superman 3.
So I have to do my other show with Chaz. We're going to talk about League, but wrapping up the show here, we want to give you guys a quick show today. Sorry it was later. I had to do some life stuff that's good. So I'll ask Labs Comic Fan, do you have anything planned coming up that you would like to let the audience know about?
Yeah, I'm actually making videos, so just stay tuned.
God damn it. Oh, God.
They're actually happening now, so stay tuned, people.
Agent Venom now.
Well, I'm doing. I'll have Bat Bits and another History of the X-Men coming up, but I am doing an actual like sit down video. So
hell yeah,
that'll be fun.
So as you guys know from myself, later on after watching this episode of the MSK show, we have the Cloud9 podcast with Mr. Blanks, and tomorrow panel show is going to be around 6 p.m., 7 p.m.
Who's on the panel?
That's the show I have with Warren and Gray.
And me.
Who said you could be a part of the boys?
Oh, apparently I can't now.
You got to bring. I mean, if you want to come on, you can. I mean, it's
yeah.
We'll have to start at 6
much.
Because
that's fine. I woke up at 10 o'clock today.
Well, no, because I work the next day. That's why I'd start.
No, I understand. It's still 9 o'clock for me, which is fine.
We'll have a few. Oh, the topics tomorrow are Spider-Man and Ana de Armas and Tom Cruise, so that's not that bad. Give me some nice fun topics right there. So yeah, we'll start the panel show tomorrow at 7 p.m. PST, and that's pretty much it. It's good to start this back up again. Next week we're gonna start going back to our comic book reviews and topic shows because there's a lot of stuff to talk about as far as the world of comic books. We could spend a whole show just doing topics because the comic book industry is in dire straits, guys. Don't let people say, okay, comic books are better now. Not saying they're not. But when people say that the financial part of it is good, and that's like, no. People,
they're all right. They're not as bad as people think. They're not as bad. But yes, they're not great.
If you were doing the financials for Diamond, you might be a millionaire at this point because Lord knows they can't do their own financials at this point.
Yeah, it's just there's a lot of people though in like the know of things, and I'm not as worried about it as some people are. Put it that way, because this type of stuff has happened before.
Yeah,
and they always come out on the other end. So,
all right, so
we'll see. We'll see.
Thank you guys for checking out this episode of the MSK show, and we will see you guys later. Have a great night.